last week we left it with Vladimir and Septimus in a side room at a party or a soiree in the upper hive, thrown by Nocturne Malice. It's going to be one of his, well, at least the party guests think it's going to be one of his epic 2 weeks or more parties, with people off their face on whatever this fairy dust-like substance is, keeping them awake for that long. However, you're in a side room, and it's fairly plush. There's a couple of sofas, there's a coffee table, but there's also a bank of monitors. We found them last week, and you were suitably shocked at the level of surveillance on your fellow acolytes in the various other hives. You're now staring at a bank of half empty, half off monitors because those people have died. And it's been some minutes since that happened. I believe you're waiting for Nocturne Malice to appear. Do you guys have anything to say to each other at first?
There is no other way out of this room apart from the door we were let in by.
There is a single door.
Yeah.
Is there a screen showing us?
In this room?
Yeah.
No.
All the screens have gone blank, haven't they?
No, half of them have. All the ones where people have died.
Yeah.
They've gone blank. So the inference there is that at least half the acolytes that were sent to Malfi have already perished.
Yeah. I believe the probability of survival is low. Exit through door would not assist this, I feel.
You're right. You know more of technology than me. How is this possible?
It would require extremely advanced and heretical devices. Such detail is not possible within licensed scope of mechanical law.
I was afraid you were going to say that.
Additionally, no input device present in these monitors. I cannot enter a system.
Now that is something. Did you bring weapons?
Affirmative. Weapons are implanted directly into my support systems.
Lucky you. I have to use these.
Do you think violence is best option?
My friend, I am Vostroyan. I always think violence is best option.
Perhaps it may be more efficable to engage in conversation, live longer, higher probability of escape.
We try it your way. If anything starts to go south, I know how I get out of these situations.
Query.
For now,
In how many pieces will you exit?
hopefully one. Hopefully.
The door that you came in through opens, and the man that you've previously met, Vladimir, enters. Short compared to Vladimir, fairly average looking, average build, middle age, sharp dresser, but that's the only kind of sharp thing about him really. And he closes the door carefully behind him. Gentlemen, I do apologize. I was held up at the party. I've got a few minutes that I can give to you, and that is all. Now, please take a seat.
I'm afraid I am biologically incapable of sitting.
Well, that's all right. You just stand over there. But you, my friend, my Vostroyan friend, take yourself onto that sofa. Let's have a sit down. Let's have a meet.
Thank you, Nocturne. She's
Queer.
a lovely place.
Why, thank you. I'm sorry, your friend here said query? Is that a common thing for him to be saying?
Query. I admit to significant levels of curiosity in regards to the technology through which monitoring of these individuals is taking place.
Oh, that. You'll have to talk to my manservant about that. I'll set up a meet later, but for now I think we have some larger things to discuss at this table right here. So, if you don't mind, Septimus, Vladimir, is that right? Not just Vlad?
Duh.
Vladimir and I are gonna have a little conversation. That's all we're gonna do here, okay? So, he reclines on the sofa. What can I do you for?
I am new to Malfi. I am not of inconsiderable wealth, and am hoping that my money and, of course, my strength can be used in the right hands on this world. It would be a shame for such things to go to waste.
Now, Vladimir, that was the first time you've lied to me, and I don't want you to do it again. Let's start again.
We're looking for information.
That's better. What kind of information?
Someone is supplying weapons of a very, very high quality to outsiders. This interests me.
Was there a question there?
Where could I meet such a man?
Why'd you want to know?
I have a great love of weapons and also surviving. So to be on the wrong side of such a man would not suit me.
It seemed to me like you are already on the wrong side of many people on Malfi.
It would seem that way. Perhaps it is time, as we have said, to start making friends.
Now, I did make you a promise of friendship, and I intend to hold myself to that promise. Will you let me? This can only work if you let me, Vladimir.
Of course.
The man you seek is a man that you already know, as far as I am concerned. His name is Castruccio Rex. He heads up a section of your order here in Malfi, I believe.
I am not unfamiliar with his name. But
He's got
his face, I don't know.
His face. He shall not be attending the party. He does not attend parties, or at least not anymore. Can I get you any refreshments? Some Vasnas, perhaps?
Yes, please.
The door opens and the manservant comes through. Yes, master. What would you like? Vasnas. For my guests. You as well, Septimus?
Negative. I do not consume irrelevant substances.
Now there is some clean living for you. Just two, then. The manservant nods and leaves. Castruccio Rex has gone AWOL, which is probably one of the reasons why your order sent you here. Am I right?
I believe so.
He has been stockpiling weapons for some time, and I believe he means to overthrow the current system of governance on Malfi by taking Primus first. This has already happened on several of the hives. I believe you might think you're experiencing earthquakes, is that right?
Yes, we were at the epicenter of one such event.
No, that will have been Tertius being destroyed.
My God. The man is destroying whole hive blocks.
Nearly 7 billion people have died already.
The Emperor's balls. So many.
Well, the majority of them would be underhivers and such, but a lot of the important people are in my mother's spire. You may have seen it through the window.
Ah, yes, yes.
They were evacuated in time.
How did you know ahead of time that such a thing would take place?
He nods to the monitors. We know everything that goes on Malfi. Now, it seems to me that your mission here is at a loose end. It is without purpose, it is without manpower, and it is without backup.
Yes, it is.
Now, my understanding is that at least 70, perhaps 90 individuals were sent to Malfi by the Tarantine Cabal some years ago. Is this correct?
That I cannot be entirely certain of, no. But I assume, judging by your resources, that you are correct.
I have 45 members in my morgue. Others we weren't capable of collecting the pieces. Your master sent you on a fool's errand, Vladimir. They sent you on a suicide mission. They sent you here to die.
I do not believe this.
It's a cold fact. If only you'd open your eyes and see it. You are currently sat in the room with the one person on Malfi that can get you off this planet in one piece and home, alive and well. All we need to do here is work together. I have resources. You have clout. Do you understand me?
I understand.
Query. What is the specific assistance you would require from us?
I need you to kill Castruccio Rex.
This we can do.
He looks at you, Septimus. And you?
I am afraid my talents do not lie in such a direction.
My understanding is that the Inquisition works in squads. Am I right?
Duh.
And every member of this squad augments the capabilities of the other.
That is the theory.
Then you have use, Septimus. You have amazing technical ability. Perhaps I can even put you into work here with my own technology.
Query. What is the nature of this technology?
Before we go into that, I'm going to need some kind of vow or promise. I believe a man's word is binding. Do you believe the same, Vladimir?
Yes, I do. As do all firstborns.
Very well. I wish to make an agreement with you, sealed with a handshake, that you, as leader of your squad of 4 members, am I right?
If one has not passed, then yes, still 4.
Ah, yes, that nasty business in the bazaar. I was watching it at the time. I can't say that I was surprised. Anyway, we go off topic. If you will agree with me right here to be my man in this adventure, in this undertaking, then my resources are at your disposal.
You have yourself a gun.
Very good. He stands up and holds his hand out.
I will take it and shake it.
He does the thing where, you know, when you're shaking and then there's like a nod which goes with the movement.
Yeah.
Just once, just to seal it, and then he lets go. Excellent. The manservant enters with the Vosnos and hands you both glass, and he chinks his with you. Septimus, Vladimir, if you'll follow me, I believe the fireworks are about to start. And he leads you back into the party, where everyone's crowding around the windows. You kind of watch for some time, and people. It feels like a New Year's Eve party. You know, when people are. It's not quite time to count down yet, but everyone knows there's 60 seconds till New Year. It's that kind of feel. And then with a sort of monumental silence, the huge hive spire across the way from you, which contains the Eminence Gladys Matriarch, collapses with sort of pillars of flame jutting out from it at each level. Its supports coming down, and the whole thing crashes down into the lower hive. And the party goes mental with the celebration.
You
You just made a deal with the most powerful man on Malfi.
It would appear that way, yes.
Okay, let's jump to the other side of this ensemble. Romulus.
Mm-hmm.
You are sat or stood next to the supine form of Flack. His breathing is irregular. He is completely unconscious. Can you give me a sort of sit rep of your state of mind and what you're thinking?
I'm very frustrated that I'm having to be here rather than actually doing something to forward the mission. So I'll probably pace back and forth a little bit. And then, at least try and make myself useful in some manner. So I'll probably just start cleaning everyone's guns.
Okay. There is something that you've never experienced before, Malfi. A knock at the door.
I will have my hand cannon in hand and go to the viewing port.
Ed, can you describe what he sees through the viewing port, please?
Okay, through the viewing port, you see a young man no older than about 25, very, very slim, quite, in comparison to a lot of other people, the acolytes, is actually quite short, standing at about 5'6", 5'7", very slim, with very, well, at the moment, quite loose, but short blonde hair. He's extremely well clean shaven, and he's wearing a very rare uniform utilised by a small sect of the Arbites, the Arbites Administratum, which deals with interrogation and interrogation and information gathering. Very distinct. It's very much like he kind of looks like a magistrate in a way.
Okay.
So Romulus,
I'm pretty sure. Recognize him from the ship.
Yes. You recognise him from that uniform, certainly. Can I guess some kind of memory/logic roll?
Could I use scrutiny?
Yes, you can. Yep, that's good.
Uh, 66. So that is 1 degree of failure.
This man looks like he is here to interview you. You recognise the uniform. You don't.
Yeah.
You know nothing else about this man. You are slightly surprised that he doesn't. You can't see backup. And they wouldn't send an interrogator to bust you, so it's all very strange. Do you let him in?
I will put my helmet on first.
Okay.
And then open the door, yeah. Can I help you?
Sorry, what is Romulus's last name?
Draco.
Arbite Romulus. My name is Octavius Fell. I'm here to inform you that you may be in grave danger.
No shit.
May I come in?
Got any ID?
I pull out my Arbite's identification. As I do, kind of coat opens. There's a very distinct Arbite's carapace armor. The chest piece to it as well. It's almost like a card-carrying person, as opposed to having a badge.
Okay, sorry. Are you showing him your inquisitorial badge, or are you showing him your Arbite badge?
Oh, sorry, my inquisitorial badge.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll nod him in and get the door shut behind him. Have a quick glance either way in the street.
Yeah, nothing.
Yeah, then shut the door behind him.
Oh. Sorry, I forgot to mention that in Octavius's hand is a distinct, almost like a briefcase kind of thing as well.
A briefcase. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's continue.
Sorry about the mess. We've had a bit of a rough time of it.
I heard about what's happened. One of your... Wait a minute, my man doesn't match the files I received on you. That doesn't look like Gunnery Sergeant Jenner.
He's dead. So's killed.
Sorry to hear about your loss, Romulus.
Your team still together?
If they were, I wouldn't be here.
Fair enough.
It seems to be that someone is hunting us. Most of my team were conveniently caught up in crossfire between gangs and squads of local enforcement. Something isn't right here.
I agree. Jonah lost his squad to the Inquisition, and then not long after that, we were dropped into the Underhive. Only myself and the guardsman Vlad made it out. On the way, we picked up this guy. He's not one of the acolytes that came with us. He's a pre-existing Inquisition asset, shall we say. And we met a tech priest who'd also lost his team.
Looks like we've become somewhat of a... It looks like we're a bit of a ragtag little family. The file that I collected upon your team, it states that you are led with a Captain Vladimir Molotov of the Vestroyan Firstborn. May I speak with him? It's of great urgency.
He's on mission.
Do you know where he left to?
Upper Hive.
We need to get to the Upper Hive as soon as we can.
What's the problem?
If we don't get there as soon as possible, he may already be dead.
Well, that's enough to convince me.
Shall we adjourn?
Let me gear up. And,
Okay.
treat the patient. I'll get one of those tranks that was left with me, just to make sure that he doesn't, wake up and start clawing at himself again.
Okay.
And then I will load up with my personal weapons.
Okay. So you're going in full strength.
I won't bring the chain axe. So I'll bring the two handguns.
Dude. Never ever leave a weapon behind in this room.
That's a good point.
You will die.
Yeah, I'm gonna take my chain axe.
No, don't actually
change. Carry all of his weapons as well, though.
Yeah.
We've got Keller's spear, Jonah's long-las, and all of Flack's gear. I can't carry all of it.
I think you should just leave it behind. I don't think that chain axe doesn't count as actually your gear because you didn't come here with it.
Yeah. I will take the looted snub nose and the looted chain blade though, because those can just slip in my belt.
Okay, so chain blade and what is it? Like 3
So
guns?
two handguns, my shock maul, and chain blade.
So if you had 4 arms, you'd be fully armed. As it stands, you are 200% armed.
I am. It's so I can dual wield for any situation.
Or piss about trying to draw the right weapon. Right,
Or that.
okay. So the two of you head to the upper hive. I don't really want to re-describe it. It's still people are still arriving at that party, so it's still the same as I described it last week. You know, in the elevator with people getting drunk and all the rest of it.
My helmet tucked under my arm.
Okay.
Like held in such a way that the obvious bullet hole isn't quite so obvious.
Okay, are you kind of standing next to Octavius to make it look like you're his bodyguard? Because obviously he's quite well groomed.
Probably makes the most sense.
Yeah.
I will have locked the door behind me and taken the keys as well.
Taken the key, yeah. Okay. Right, and you arrive at this incredibly opulent party. As I described last week, you know, it just completely takes you back. You've never seen anything like this, even when you were on your hive. This is like the elite's room, and you're just let in. Everyone is slamming some kind of sparkly dust in their face, absolutely slamming it, and toasting Noctine Malice as ruler. You know, some people are even screaming sort of like "Hail Noctine." This kind of atmosphere. The whole New Year's Eve thing that I was saying earlier.
Yeah.
This is post the post midnight bit.
Okay.
And on a first floor balcony, because it's like a several floored atrium area, you can see a fairly normal looking man chatting to Vlad and Septimus. There are like stairs crisscrossing, heading up to these various side rooms off these balconies.
I'll point Vlad out to Octavius.
Yes, he matches the description I received. Okay.
Vlad. Noctine makes his farewells and says he must rejoin the party, and heads down. You see him slam a few more things of fairy dust down himself, and begin sort of reveling. You know, this man just became the most powerful person on the planet, where there are several billion people.
Yeah.
He is really enjoying this. You kind of got the impression that he was fairly austere most of the time. You know, he's got a fairly affable manner, but not prone to overt celebration. And you get the sense that even in a short time, you learned a bit about him. You got to know him a little bit, and that this is him putting on a show.
Yeah.
And you even fancy yourself as thinking that he thinks of himself as a showman. You know, the whole thing with the thing blowing up at the right point and people at the party watching it. You know, it's spectacle.
Yeah.
Anyway, up the stairs, when Noctine leaves, you see Romulus and another individual heading up the stairs.
That could be trouble.
Affirmative. I start walking towards them.
Yeah, no, they are there. They've just arrived. Yeah.
Vlad.
Query. Have you left the patient unattended?
He's dosed up.
I assume there must be high probability of important information.
Depends on what this bloke has to say.
The information that I will provide to you is highly sensitive. Are you aware of any location that we maintain a more formal meeting?
Perhaps in the apartment that we are using, but I don't think this place is safe.
For all we know, the apartment is already compromised. It's happened to me. I don't want it to happen again.
Give me a moment. I'm gonna see if I can spy the manservant.
Yeah, he's kind of hovering about.
I'll wave him over, if possible.
Look, I've already told you I'm not the fucking sandwich man.
This is beyond sandwiches now, my friend. My friends and I are friends of Noctine. Business associates, if you would. and we have some plans to make to celebrate his new rulings. So, do you have somewhere we could perhaps take a little weight off of our feet? Somewhere nice and quiet, eh?
Preferably with a lock.
What a
If you don't
strange request. Follow me. He leads you up another flight of stairs and into another side room. This one has no monitors. But it's almost identical to the one that you were in before, with the sofas and the coffee table.
Okay.
It's lit by light strips embedded in the ceiling.
Okay. While he's leading us into the room, I'm kind of looking around almost to see if there's anything that might record us or any kind of bug or anything like that.
Not that you can see.
Okay. Or any kind of doodad. I don't know. Yeah, I'm just keeping my eyes open.
Yeah, as I say, nothing you can see, and you all enter, and he closes the door behind you. There is no lock on the door.
Query.
Okay.
Lean against the back of the door.
Yeah.
Query. Please identify yourself.
My name is Octavius Fell, member of the Arbeit Administratum. I was sent here at Secundus primarily for information gathering and possible inquisitorial action. My entire squad was terminated, if you will, by a crossfire between local law enforcement, unaffiliated with the Adeptus Arbites, and a local gang. I have spent the last 2 weeks travelling here and looking for you, to tell you that you all are in great danger.
Okay, quickly, Ben. Was he on any of the monitors that Noctine had?
Is there a way to have a memory check? Do you have something?
I have logic.
Logic. Okay, give me a logic check, please.
Cool. 29. So that's 4 degrees of success.
Okay. He was on the monitors. He was a part of a group before he left. He kind of made his excuses and left from what you could see, and that group was within minutes annihilated. There were at least 3 members killed in some kind of gunfight.
When you say made his excuses and left, did it seem like he wasn't a conspicuous leaving, like he left and then they all died?
Not at all. It seemed more like he was irritated about the way they were going about things.
Okay.
Yeah, they were more kind of more violent than he was. To have more muscle, kind of grr, kill all kind of
Gonna
people.
love it round here.
Yeah.
Yeah, as we say.
Affirmative. I turn to Vlad. I do not know if your fleshy memory units will remember this, but we observed the death of his squad on the monitors that Noctine provided.
I was a little distracted. Good job.
Monitors? What monitors?
Noctine is watching members of our cabal, monitoring all of us. Those who are still living are watched. Those who have died, their deaths are remembered at least there.
He also insinuated that Castruccio Rex was responsible for destruction of Hive Tertius, home to approximately 3,100,012,016 individuals.
That would explain the hive quakes we experienced up in Secundus.
So what news do you bring us, other than that we are all probably going to die on Malfi?
We may have rogue cabals. Is there any tables in this room?
There's a coffee table.
Okay. As I say that, I pop down my briefcase and pop it open. Inside there is a shotgun that looks a lot smaller than the usual Arbite-sized shotgun. Obviously, like your standard.
Like a sawn-off?
Almost, but it's like almost specifically designed to be this size. So yeah, pretty much a sawn-off, but designed for it.
Okay, what else is in there?
Obviously, there is a couple of doses of stim. Like
I mean, like in terms of what they can see. So, what is it you opened it up to show them?
Okay. I pull out a kind of what looks like a well-used data slate. Obviously, the one that he personally uses quite a lot, and a pick recorder, and place them down on the table. Well, take them out and place them down on the table and shut the case back up. During my time in Secondus, I conducted a few interviews with the locals. Most of them affiliated with multiple gangs, but certain ones were coming under my jurisdiction. All came from the same gang, all utilizing weapons far beyond what the other gangs were using. We are talking military-grade las weapons. We are talking frag grenades. We are talking military-grade armor. Someone had been supplying these people with advanced weaponry. All of them talking about a man who had separated himself from the filth of genitalia.
That sounds like Rex.
I kind of start rummaging through the files on my data slate for any information that I might have on Castruccio Rex. So
Yeah, we had some interaction with one of his acolytes. He was castrated, and there was a chaos symbol where his junk used to be.
It was heresy. Terrible heresy.
if he's utilizing people like that, we need to get this sorted quickly.
I'm just going to step away for a sec, guys, right?
Okay.
Then we may be in luck. I have entered us into something of an agreement with Noctine. He is now, for lack of a better word, the king in this castle. And we are his knights. He wishes to...
What happened to his mother?
She's somewhat indisposed across several hives.
Maternicide. My good sir.
No, I don't play chess.
You said she was indisposed over several hives, implying that she has been blown to bits.
I was implying nothing. I mean, she's, like, totally jelly.
Okay, then, Captain Molotov, with her death, who benefits from it?
Noctine becomes ruling class of this entire world. It is his now, his plaything. And Castruccio Rex is an obstacle in the path of this bull. He wants us to remove Rex, which as far as I can see is beneficial to both parties. I will not call myself his man, but it needs to be done, and his resources can lead us straight to the root of problem.
Captain Molotov, we are agents of a higher power. We may occasionally make deals with petty crime bosses, but we do not make deals with people who commit matricide, regicide, killing hundreds upon thousands upon millions of people in order to advance their way.
The deal was about 30, maybe 35 seconds before the explosion, so I didn't see it coming.
Well, if we're entered into this deal, and we have no choice into it, we'll have to play it out.
Think of it like undercover work. You do some bad now, but it's for the greater good, yeah?
But if I see if I even get a single whiff of heretical acts with this Noctine or any of you, you'll face the full wrath of the Inquisition. Do you hear me?
Oh, loud and clear.
Good.
I'd relax. This doesn't sound like heresy to me. Just, Hive-world nobles doing what Hive-world nobles do.
These Hive-world nobles were appointed by the God Emperor himself. They are ordained by the Holy Terror. Technically, regicide upon one of the Hive-worlds could be tantamount to heresy.
I think cutting off your winky and putting naughty stuff that is definitely heresy into your pants is kind of double heresy. So maybe we deal with this first, and then, we come back, finish the job.
Okay. Well, one thing we need to do first is we need to build some form of information network.
How do you propose such a thing?
We need to build a network of informants. We need people who can't be seen. We need people who hide in plain sight. We need people who can get close to certain others. People.
Vladimir! Who are your companions here?
Octavius Fell.
I believe I was talking to Vladimir. Vladimir, who are your companions here?
This is Octavius Fell. He keeps notes of what we do,
A worthy cause.
Books. And this is my friend Romulus Draco. He's, how you say, ex-cop, all strong jaw and big punch,
He seems fairly rigid.
That he can be. Open up, Romulus. We were just discussing what a lovely party it is.
My manservant said you requested a room.
We haven't had a chance to get together today. So, having a bit of recon and discussing our plans for tomorrow, for Rex.
I heard you have a bit of a problem with a gentleman with a genitalia fixation.
I'm afraid I don't quite understand your brand of humor. But if you mean Castruccio Rex, then yes, I do. I have a prior agreement with your commander here, and I believe he will see it through. Commander, do you know what resources you will require?
His location, for sure.
His location?
Any maps? Duh.
Then of course, I can help you. He is, we'll need to be able to see out of the window for this. Just come to the door with me, Vladimir. Now, you see where my mother's spire used to be? He turns to the rest of you. She died recently. I am terribly, terribly bereaved. You see 2 spires to the right.
Duh.
That is Castruccio's spire. He controls it. He doesn't live in all of it, of course, but it is populated with his highest acolytes. It is somewhat palatial, rivaling even my own.
Okay. If you have any details of layout, of security detail, and of course any men for my disposal.
He has many
That would be most
acolytes. He also has access to some stormtroopers. Though, my friend, you see the gentleman over there with his shirt off dancing with those, I think they are both ladies. He is a man named General Mirage. And General Mirage is the commander of forces on Malfi. He is my close friend, a business associate like yourself.
And he would be interested in doing business with me.
We are already in business, and therefore he is already doing business with you. If you require him to keep soldiers back, or to give you soldiers, you have only to ask me.
Some soldiers would be handy. And, some air support if possible. I think I've got an idea.
My dear friend, Romulus, I need you to understand that you are now playing an entirely different kind of game with these people. You have the ear of the most powerful man on Malfi. I can get you anything you want. But I want you to spearhead the operation. If you say air support, you get air support. You get three ships. You get whatever you want. If you want Imperial Guard forces to break down that door, you will have it. Have I made it clear what kind of friend I am?
Crystal.
Well, I'll leave you to your discussions. I will be over there, attempting to steal one of those lovely ladies from General.
Enjoy your dancing. We have much to discuss.
He exits.
So what do you think?
Logical interjection. He never lists a price.
You make an excellent point.
We need a counter plan in case this isn't above the level, which it obviously isn't.
Logical interjection. He clearly does not require our assistance. Therefore, variables must be unknown.
Plausible deniability.
No, we've seen this quite a lot on the Shrine World, where one family believes they have a divine right, but ends up in a civil war. I've had to deal with a few of those.
I believe Romulus to be correct. He wishes to have.
He just blames it on us. Why does he handle the whole thing?
He wishes to have inquisitorial stamp on his actions. He wishes for this to be put off as an internal inquisitorial matter. That is the logical solution.
We need to kill Rex anyway, because we know he's committing heresy.
We do not have access to all the facts.
But we know what Rex is up to. You
We
saw those
know.
documents.
We know what we have observed and what we have been told. These are not the same as conclusive logical evidence.
Pretty sure first-hand experience in one of his acolytes is good enough evidence for me.
We saw
I-
things that you did not.
I simply make the point that we can only make inferrations, not conclusions. We must beware of being manipulated.
No, I'm very aware of it. We're being manipulated. But the point is, we were sent here to at least root out some of the heresy before the Inquisition fully arrives.
I
If we take
conclude
down Rex, we at least made some sort of headway.
I calculate high probability of our termination following killing of Castruccio Rex.
Well, if we don't do it, we're gonna get terminated anyway. I don't know about you, but I'm sick and tired of just sitting around in that apartment while people slowly get picked off.
I am not making the point that we should not kill Castruccio Rex. I think the inferration of his heresy is highly probable. I am making the point that we must be aware of danger and take steps to prevent as much as logically probable.
Then we need a backup plan.
Affirmative.
Captain Molotov, do you have any guard connections in the local area? Or
Not
possibly
not on the
rogue
world.
trader?
I could potentially call, see if there are any squadrons of Firstborn. But most guardsmen will know me as something of an outsider, despite my rank.
There's also the fact that the man in charge of the Planetary Defense Forces is over there enjoying the festivities.
I have constructed a possibility.
Do tell.
An individual, such as Noctine Malice, will no doubt have heretical leanings. The nature of his technology is in it, at least in itself, heretical and non-standard. If we can obtain evidence, we may be able to use this to get out of culmination of termination of Castruccio Rex alive.
This is not a bad idea. The man tells us we can have anything that we want. Anything. Can any of you fly a Valkyrie? I mean, that's one quick way on and off of a top floor.
Well, that was similar to what I was thinking. I can't fly one, but if we can borrow one, we could get the general down there to send some of his guards at the door, which will drag a lot of security down, and then afterwards we hit the top floor.
So it's just a solid get-up plan.
Would a diversionary tactic not assist? Remove some of Castruccio Rex's forces, draw them out, then assault.
Castruccio Rex, from what I learned, he has what we need, which is networks. We need to find out what they are. We need to take down the heads of said networks, and much like the Imperial Aquila against the heretical snake. Take off the head, the body will die. We need to find these gentlemen and send him to the glorious Emperor.
Query: could we instead use these networks to plant misinformation.
But that's lying, but given the circumstances, I'd justify it to myself. Sounds like a good idea, my omniscient friend.
Query. If Castruccio Rex receives information about a potential heretical uprising, he will potentially send forces to quell it, reducing defenses in Spire.
Thing is, though, this misinformation, it can't just be through word of mouth. I think I know a way we could utilize these resources. It's from a book that I was quite fond of when I was a child, growing up on Venris. It was one of those old Imperial Guard books. Vladimir, you may have, I'm not sure if you may have read them. The what was it? The Guardsman Gary stories, if you remember those. Like adventure stories for children about the exploits of the Imperial Guard.
I'm very sorry. What has this got to do with anything? I mean, we have a man with immeasurable wealth who is begging us to kill a man we want to kill, offering us all of the resources we could possibly want. Perhaps if we said to him, hey, you blow up your mom, why don't you blow up something else outside of the tower? And then Rex's men leave, we get in, we kill Rex, we come back, I don't know, we kill Noctine, we leave. We are overcomplicating what should be simple in and out maneuvers. It has been done this way for 10,000 years, by God. It's very simple.
Captain Molotov, look at us. We have, between you and Arbite Draco, we have about as much fighting force as, well, something that doesn't have much fighting force. We need to fight from shadows.
There is no honor in fighting from shadows. We fight with the will of the Emperor. His protection is our shield. We need nothing more.
Vladimir, you can't win. Everything's with swords and shrapnel. We are inquisitorial agents. We fight in the shadows. We are the people who save worlds and receive no thanks. It is our lot in life. We need to strike silently and surgically.
Query. How would this be done in this specific case?
All of our enemies already know we're here.
Well, if our enemies know we're here, and just so happens a courier containing orders to some less than legitimate operatives just so happens to be found dead within Castruccio Rex's hive, with orders saying that we are going to strike from one side alone, we then slip in through the other side. That's where I was getting to about those novels, Vladimir.
You look across at Vladimir, and you see that you have some, you clearly overstepped your mark in terms of who's leading this expedition. This huge gargantuan man is bunching his fists, biceps are bulging. He, from the look in his eyes, he wants nothing more than to rip your head off and use it to play some kind of sport.
Okay. Captain Molotov, I wouldn't recommend it. We are here to do a job. After we have done the job, if you wish to attack me, you are fully welcome to. But we are here to do a specific job. You're the one who made us in a deal with the proverbial devil. So we are cleaning up, which is my specialty.
Do not talk to me like I am some kind of child. With your data slate and your badge, thinking you are some kind of big man. Your entire team died while you walked away. I've kept my men alive to the best of my ability, and I intend to keep doing so. And sneaking around trying to plant hidden messages is not the way to do it.
As Vladimir talks about the death of my team, I just reach into the case and pull out my shotgun.
Can I get reactions from the rest of the group, please?
Point a gun at him.
And Septimus?
Back the fuck up.
Yeah, probably. That's probably true. Back the fuck up.
So you step away from the conflict?
Yes. But I also prepare an action, if that's okay, to fire my Luminen blast at. Sorry, what's your new character? Octavius, wasn't it? Octavius, if he shoots, basically.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you can prepare that action.
Okay. As
so this all happens at the same time.
As he's got
so
the
we need to have Vlad's action. Sorry.
Sorry.
You need to wait.
Sorry.
Vlad, we need your reaction to the action as well.
I draw no weapons. I'm just gonna puff my chest up.
So Octavius, from drawing your gun, you see that the man that brought you here, Romulus, has levelled his hand cannon at you, and you can't. Septimus is off to the side, and you can't quite see what he's doing. But there is an extremely unfriendly vibe in the room now.
You listen to me, Vistroyan. Even though I didn't get along with those people, they were still operatives of the Inquisition. They were still my friends. I was off trying to help them. I was trying to help with our network. I was not aware that we had been compromised. I could not have seen this happening.
Are you going to write a network about that? Or are you going to shoot me?
During this entire time, Octavius is quite intimidated by Vlad. He is shaking. He's kind of gone a bit pale. It's just but got the gun trained at him. It's shaking like mad.
Why don't we all calm down before something happens and we ruin this nice carpet? Huh?
I basically put the shotgun back in the case, shut the case up. It's a fake carpet anyway.
There are
Vlad,
flashes of hits here.
You need to stop getting quite so angry every time somebody suggests that honor isn't the most important thing anymore.
It's hard to change my ways.
He's got a point, though. You're not a guardsman at first anymore. You're Inquisition first. Honor got left behind. I'll holster my gun. Look, I know you want to do things properly and by the book, Octavius, and, if we were on any other hive, I would probably agree with you. But this place is falling down around us. Sometimes not even around, right where we're stood. Building networks? Yeah, sure. Misinformation? Yeah, sure. but we're under the clock here.
This is logical.
I don't think any of us should kid ourselves. They sent a lot of acolytes here. We're not a small team of high-level operatives making things happen. We're cannon fodder.
I believe this to be logically correct. Additionally, if Castruccio Rex is destroying hives through means unknown, we may be on a tighter schedule than even that dictated by the Tarantine Cabal.
So how about this, okay? We use these resources that have been promised to us. We make as much chaos as we can for this Inquisition. We get in there, we kill Rex, and then we disappear. Then we start building networks, and we use that to bring down whoever else we need to.
Before we kill Castruccio Rex, I want to talk to him. I want him to be sat down in a chair, unharmed. I want to talk to him.
That's gonna be hard to do. But if you got a plan, I'm all ears.
We need information. Information makes everything. Information is power. Why do you think I was sent here? For my weapon skill? For my ballistic skill? No. I was sent here primarily because I was very good at getting information without resorting with cleanup bills. I need to find out as much as I can. That's why I was sent here.
I think we can all agree that interrogation of Castruccio Rex would be preferable. However, it should not come at the cost of the overall mission.
I agree with you, Septimus.
Perhaps if we agree that, if possible, we shall interrogate the subject, then we will do so. However, if probability suggests that doing so will cause the mission to fail, then it will not be a viable option.
Okay.
That sounds good to me. We could also use this opportunity to get Septimus here into both Noctine and Planetary Inquisition systems. That could provide plenty of useful intel.
It depends upon the level of Cognita security, but it may be possible given time.
Vladimir, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I pointed my gun at you. I was unprofessional.
Professionally pointed my gun at many men. I feel I am no longer suitable to command this mission. It has strayed out of areas in which I am familiar. As such, I think one of you should take command. My sword and las pistol will, of course, be at your disposal. But I am no longer fit to run this outfit.
There is a tense silence until one of you breaks it.
This is illogical. you have you have the highest experience level of command within these members. Additionally, we are facing a high probability of combat situation where you also have extensive experience. This is illogical.
If I am in command, it is not high probability of combat. It is surety. That is why I think I am currently not so good. I do not know how to find information to create false leads. My idea of distraction is a screamer with 4 frag grenades thrown through doorway. I am not a subtle man.
At this point, subtlety may not be what is required for success. We
What
have
say
a
you,
deadline.
Romulus?
We need to stop Rex, and that's gonna take some combat. Then, like I said, I like the idea of doing that, causing some chaos, and then disappearing. And if possible, bringing Rex with us. I think you're probably best for commanding that. And this is your deal, after all. I'm not sure how much Noctime would like it if you suddenly said, I'm not in charge anymore, talk to one of these guys.
And you, Octavius.
Vladimir, your record stated, and Septimus also stated, you are extremely well experienced at combat, and obviously associated actions with combat. I think there shouldn't be one leader. We need to compartmentalize. When the shit goes down, you will be in charge. When it's subtlety, I assume Romulus and myself have the higher amount of experience when it comes to investigations, interrogations, and the whatnot, and standard Arbite procedure. And obviously, with technology, Septimus will be in charge. It's almost like a chain. Each one of us works off the other. It works off the other.
I may have a plan. We ask Noctime for several things. A new apartment. Somewhere we can go that puts us far from where we have been staying. The place is no longer safe. If it is not dangerous for you, Septimus, access to all of his security, information, and technology. And for Mr. Draco and I, a big distraction on the way in to show Mr. Rex to new lodgings with us. What do you think?
This appears logical. Additionally, personal safety is not a primary concern. I am willing to follow instruction.
The only issue is we wouldn't be safe in an apartment Noctime got for us either.
Logical
ask him.
Logical
Sorry,
interjection. Where would be safe?
On this world, nowhere. Not anymore.
What's one place no one would look? Especially for agents like us. Because they know we're going to be. They know you have a place of residence in the Middle Hive. We can't stay up here.
Logical interjection. Noctine has shown himself capable of aiding the following of all agents on this planet. He is capable of knowing where we go.
Unless you can interfere with that.
Unknown and improbable.
Or we hide in plain sight. An apartment given to us by Noctine is not safe. But if he knows where we are, then why does he need to check up on us? Like you said, hide in plain sight.
That sounds pretty good to me, actually. Better the enemy you know, huh?
So let's, Vladimir, can you just give me a quick rundown on what this final plan is?
So the plan is, I asked Noctine for full access to all of the security networks and stuff for Septimus. Ask him for a place of residence for us near him so that if he needs us, he can get us quickly. Ask him for a Valkyrie to take us to the window of the floor that Rex is on, or to the correct level, and a great big distraction of as many armed guards as possible hitting the bottom floor of that tower at once as we can get. So we want to get in, get Rex out, and get him to this new apartment so that Octavius can find out what he wants to know before we kill him, therefore performing our part of the bargain.
Sounds like you've got a man to talk to. How do you want to go about this? Do you want to go and talk to him in the party? Do you want to ask him up here?
I'll go and speak to him
Okay.
and ask his preference.
All right. Vladimir leaves the room. We're gonna follow Vladimir first, and then come back and see if anything was said whilst he was gone. Vlad, you head down the steps and into the party. You see the venerable Noctine Malus partying away. He looks quite inebriated, but as I previously mentioned, this kind of fairy dust stuff, which I really need to name, does still allow you to operate at even higher than normal brain function, even if you are completely intoxicated. And he seems to be having quite a good time with some fine ladies, and also with what looks like the general that you saw before, who is in an increasingly naked state. My boy, come dance with us. Or do you have?
I have.
Oh, I'm sorry,
I have
ladies.
two left.
Vladimir has serious business to attend. Bitches be gone.
I like that. I have to remember that next time I have a platoon, my friend.
I am quite the magician.
I have business to discuss with you. Would you prefer to dance while we talk, or
No, we
take
can
this
discuss it
somewhere
right
more?
here.
It's like-
What's your plan? Just tell me what you need. Don't even tell me the plan. Tell me what you need.
we would like somewhere to stay.
Done.
close to here, so that if you need us, you can get us. We
Done.
would
Upper
like
Hive apartments. I
large-
have plenty. Done.
Marvelous. Full link-ins to your security. Full access for my tech priest.
Can't do it. Can
If
give you a
possible.
certain amount of what you've asked for.
Of course, nothing that would impose on you, of course.
Okay. Deal. Next.
As many men as you can spare to assault the ground level of Castruccio Rex's building.
General, come here. Yeah? What's going on? We need as many men as you can spare. It's done, of course, for you. Anything for you, Noctine. Anything at all. Look at these women.
I hear they're 30% real, General.
That's quite high. General, you be off. Now, I can get anything you want from the General, so just tell me. You need men to make a distraction at the bottom of the spire, is that correct?
Duh.
I'll have some meat shields kicked down the door as soon as you give the order.
The last thing is a Valkyrie, a good pilot, and some explosive charges.
In the Valkyrie?
Oh, duh.
Done. I'll have it for you within the hour. All of it.
I will alert my men.
Be ready to go. I'm a
Thank you.
fast mover. I think fast, I talk fast, I do fast. Are you the same, Vladimir?
Always, sir.
I'm glad to know it.
I'm going to pop him a little half salute and then make my way away.
Alright, are you going back up to the room?
Yes.
Okay. Was anything said of consequence in the room? Feel free. If there was nothing to be said, then that's fine. We can just
It just got very awkward.
just very awkward.
Yeah.
Okay.
you can't really go
I don't do awkward.
So there
For
was
everyone else, it
as
got
far-
very awkward.
as far as Septimus is concerned, there was just a silence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. The door reopens and Vladimir enters.
What news?
He's granted us everything we asked for. We have an hour before we can move out.
Should have asked him for a
Is
new
he-
helmet.
Has he granted us access to an armory?
Well, explosives? I'm sure if I were to ask one small favor, it would not be a huge problem. I hope.
Because I really don't think what I'm wearing will be very useful against most of the weapons we'll be going against.
If you do not wish to take part in combat, that will not be held against you. I understand you are not a fighting man.
Thank you, Vladimir. I'll be dealing with the logistical side.
If you stay on the Valkyrie, you could keep in contact and let us know what's going on below.
So that will require 4 Vox systems. Obviously a frequency scrambler. On the Valkyrie, can you see if you can get at least 2 door gunners, possibly armed with heavy stubbers? Because if we're making an entrance, we're going to want a blanket of fire across.
Vlad, this is clearly a man talking as if trying to appear like he knows what he's talking about in terms of military matters. Yeah. You know that Voxcasters and all that kind of stuff comes as standard with Black Ops Valkyrie missions. You know that you're going to be able to do this kind of stuff easily. It all comes as standard. And his Octavius's nervousness really comes across in the fact that he's trying to organise what was very, very clearly set out as your side of things.
Octavius, do not concern yourself. This is going to be run as a military operation. Everything you have mentioned, everything you have read in your guardsman books, we will have. I will run this as a top priority mission, as it is. So do not be concerned. You start building those networks. I will bring you your men.
Yet again, Vladimir. Captain Vladimir. Thank you.
Okay, what do
I
you
look
guys do in
forward
the...
to seeing you work.
Sorry.
All I said was, I look forward to seeing you work.
What do
I
you
look
guys
forward
do
to
in the hour that you have to prepare for this mission?
Check my gear.
Gear check takes you 5 minutes because it was the same as the one you last checked, which was a few minutes
I
ago.
do it again.
If
I double
if
check.
possible, Ben,
Yeah.
I will set up some kind of data slate / vid slate for Octavius, which will allow him to view camera feeds and things like that, which presumably Noctine is the kind of things Noctine's giving us.
Yep.
Which will let him monitor the situation on the assault. If that's going to be the kind of thing that he's going to be kind of keeping us updated on.
I feel like I need to establish what the tech level is that Noctine's going to be able to supply you with. If you think of like a reasonably modern Black Ops mission, where there are cameras watching people move, night vision, all the rest of it, on the helmets, voice, maybe even like locators so you can see people inside buildings where they are.
Possibly-
Go on.
Sorry. I was going to say possibly like servo skulls just with a camera jammed in the eye socket.
Sort of mounted into the we'll flavour it with that kind of thing. Server skulls mounted into armour, perhaps, in order to display stuff, or mounted into hats or whatever. But it's going to be fairly ahead of its time or behind its time, depending on the time frame. You are going to be careful of setting this kind of thing up, but it's going to require an abundance of tech on one end in order to support it. So you're going to need all kinds of monitors and feeds and all the rest of it. So Septimus, are you planning on being in the Valkyrie?
I was planning on, because they want me to plug in essentially in Castruccio Rex's stuff, so I'm going to need to go with them. I was hoping to be able to leave something behind that would help with Octavius's assistance with us.
I was
So,
under the
for
impression
example-
that Octavius was also going in the Valkyrie. Am I wrong?
Oh, I'm
The
going to be in
Octavius
the
is gonna stay
Valkyrie,
in the
but I'm going to be
Valkyrie.
doing... Yeah, but I'm going to be providing support.
Okay, in which case, then this is quite clearly sold by Septimus. You are capable of rigging something up with your equipment that you have, and with the equipment that you're given, and then you will be a display module basically for Octavius. So you and Octavius will be a tactical overview in staying in the Valkyrie, whereas Romulus and Vladimir are the ones going in. They're going to be going out of the Valkyrie. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I guess my impression was that I would also be leaving the Valkyrie, but is that not going to be sensible?
Perhaps you need to wait until the opportune moment.
Okay.
I think that's probably down to Vladimir, actually. I think that's Vladimir's call.
Yeah, so this is the kind of thing we need to roleplay through, probably.
I think so. And I think we will jump forwards to you guys actually getting in the Valkyrie, so let's move on
I'd
with
like
that.
to say the one thing I did do in my hour is loudly belt the Vostroyan national anthem with my sword pointed at the ceiling and my eyes really tightly shut.
You also saw like a growing bulge in his pants as well. The Vostroyans,
Love
especially
it.
the firstborn, they love it. Any more vital preparations before the mission kicks off?
Would I have had any kind of any information about the tower or the spire on my data slate, just like standard municipal layouts or anything, or would that be...
No, that's unless you asked unless you asked for it from Noctime through Vladimir.
Yeah,
You wouldn't have received it.
I asked for it, so I'm kind of planning out, like, kind of, well, just like trying to figure out where he'd be and stuff like that.
Well, Noctime has given the group a layout, and you get the impression this is fairly accurate considering the amount of data he had on you guys.
Yeah.
Where he will be in this kind of fairly palatial compound at the top of this spire.
Yeah.
It's to be honest, it's all fairly self-explanatory. Once you get to this level, I mean, these guys know how the rest of them work. You feel very much like a knife being used to backstab somebody else, with the amount of data that you are given, both you and Septimus.
Right.
This is not someone who is trying to hide from Noctime.
I assume there's a photo of him as well.
Yes.
Good.
Castruccio Rex. There is something vulturific about him. He's he gives the impression of height, even in a static image where you can't see all of him, or even in comparison with others. His shoulders slope forward somewhat, and his head slung almost between these kind of fairly pointy shoulders. A long neck elevates it, but then a long nose droops it down again. Huge eyes, closed to slits with suspicion. A bald head, well, sort of a tonsured head. He has the look of a man who spends his life illuminating manuscripts in a poorly lit room. But even in these images, there is a glint of pure mastermind. And you've seen many dangerous people. This man is dangerous. Not physically. But if he has any time to come at you, you will be in trouble.
Let's surprise him then.
Yup. Maybe in a Valkyrie up his ass.
Punisher cannons.
Nom 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 nom.
You are escorted to.
Stumble up his ass.
You are escorted to a separate corridor, and then along it, and then through to a room which turns out to be a private hangar for Noctime for planetary flights and all the rest of it. On the docking bay, there is a Valkyrie painted the same shades, the various shades of blue in like a camo fashion, as the noxious cloud that surrounds Malfi. It's heavy slung with cannons, and you can see the pilot and co-pilot up front. And there is a cargo section. Once you enter, there is a cargo section which has been blocked off, so it's only passengers.
Interesting. All aboard, gentlemen.
On board, you find your explosives that you asked for.
This will do.
The Valkyries takes off, and you notice that the propellers or jets or whatever it is that propels these things have been muted. So it reduces the power, but it means that people don't hear the whine of the engines until you're right on top of them. And you are jetting through the lower atmosphere of Malfi, fairly high up. Very much sort of 0 dark 30. You guys in this enclosed space, waiting for this hit. Through your minds rushes images of the Imperial Guard attempting to storm this tower from the bottom. and the sort of shotguns being put to door locks, doors being blown off, people going down on a huge scale. But that's all that's going to do is draw people away from what your real intent is, to be a knife straight through the ribs in the back to the heart of Castruccio Rex's operation. Take him down. Can I get a quick sit rep in terms of your mindsets at this point, starting with Vlad?
I'm in full mission mode. There is very little thought other than the plan on a loop, on a loop, on a loop at the moment in Vladimir's head. None of that Vostroyan charm, no greased mustaches. He is all fucking business right now. He looks like if you were to look at him, there's a different man behind those eyes. There's, 30 years of trench warfare behind those eyes. And it's ugly.
That's a good look. Romulus.
Alright, so he's thinking that, the hard work, the grunt work, the boring work has been done. Now Vlad might be in mission mode and seeing this as a military operation, but to Romulus this is good old-fashioned kicking the door in and showing a little bit of Arbite brutality.
So Clint in Dirty Harry is what I'm thinking.
Effectively.
Septimus.
Probably stereotypically detached, showing no sign of fear or nervousness or anything like that. He's going to be thinking. He's going to be doing several things at once in his head. First of all, kind of collating the information coming in from the guards assault, and secondly, calculating probabilities of assault success, things like that, based upon previous similar assaults in his knowledge base.
Okay.
But also planning the next step, as it were. So he's not particularly interested in the combat. He's interested in what's going to happen post-combat. What are we going to learn? What's he going to be able to find out? And if there is a twinge of fear, it's from the knowledge of what heretics do when they encounter technology, which is warp it and turn it to their own ends. So he knows he's going to have to, at some point, plug into that if the mission's going to be completed successfully. And he knows it's not going to be easy, pleasant, or safe.
And Octavius.
Octavius, obviously being quite younger and not as experienced in combat situations, he is shaking a fair bit. But he's trying to keep his mind focused. He's like staring straight ahead. Funny enough, straight into Romulus's eyes, just like kind of looking at him, because obviously he looks like this kind of bastion of, the might of the Arbites. He's just trying to calm himself down, get his head in the game, basically. It's just trying to think of contingencies and, what if certain information
basically
wasn't right? Yeah.
Okay. Over the comm inside the vehicle, inside the Valkyrie, you hear 30 seconds till target. 29 seconds till target. And then in the background, because obviously he's kind of left it switched on so he can give you a countdown, you hear Noctime Malice, his voice at least, coming through very, very faintly saying, initiate Protocol Dread.
Oh, shit.
Shit.
And
execute Order 66
through the side window plating of the Valkyrie. You see the light very subtly from both of your I imagine it sort of 2 on one side, 2 on the other. Both groups of you have the same kind of viewing of this. The light off the blue atmosphere of Malfi changes very, very suddenly. It goes from being this kind of like fairly noxious blue to being shadow blue, dark. All of the light infused with a maliciousness, and the instruments all around you go completely haywire. This really fucks with you, Septimus. It feels like someone just EMP'd right next to you.
Can I make a toughness test to resist any of that or anything like that?
Not just yet, but we'll come to that. And the Valkyrie gives a violent jerk to the right, then to the left, and then you hear the engines beginning to fail. First the one on the right and then the one on the left. And it goes into a spiral. As it does that, there is a long moment where the pilot is still trying to get it under control with just flap control, and you're kind of drifting at a strange angle, where you can see up through the glass towards the sky, and the sunlight that's been completely blocked out by a huge black star that appears to have just come out of nowhere and popped into existence. And then there is an impact into the glass of where you're intending to shoot through, and the Valkyrie crashes and burns inside this palatial apartment.
Roll call.
Here.
Present.
Kept them both out of prison. Good. Okay. I'm gonna bang on the compartment with the pilots in. Do you live? Take that as a no. Men, any major injuries?
I think I'm fine.
Yeah. Just a nosebleed.
From the blocked off section at the back of the Valkyrie, you hear the whirrings of servo motors starting up.
I suggest we get out of this aircraft immediately.
Agreed.
Weapons at the ready. Get into cover as soon as possible. Keep eye contact with one another and leave no blind spots. Septimus, Octavius, this is going to be scary. But stay focused. Watch me and make sure that you are behind Romulus and I at all times. Men, move!
Right, who's getting out of the Valkyrie first?
I'm going to jam a helmet on as well.
Vladimir is the first over the top of the downed Valkyrie, who is... before the second person goes, the three of you remaining inside the Valkyrie notice from that kind of the depot at the back of the Valkyrie, the steel plate which has sealed it in slams out with a wrenching noise, in what looks like a sort of fish shape. Who's next out?
I will help one of those out. I'll help Octavius out, I think.
I'm kind of grab hold of your hand. Obviously, all this shit going on. I'm just like, get me the fuck out of here. You know, his calm composure gone.
So, Octavius, you are hoisted out, sort of out of the frying pan into the fire to a certain degree.
Fuck.
And Septimus and Romulus, you're left inside. There is a second wrenching noise as another impact puts a dent in the metal casing.
Go, get out.
Okay, Ben, is my movement impeded at all, or can I move?
It is not. It was more of a kind of sensory issue than a practical issue.
Okay, I'm going to play with that quite an interesting way, I think.
Okay.
So, I don't know, I mentioned it when you were away, actually. So I've got this calculus logi upgrade in my head, which basically means I think in binary.
Right.
I have to translate that to speech.
Okay, I get
So-
you. Right.
Okay, so here we go. So Gary, I am exiting as I do this, but I look at you, and there's an extremely quick blurt of numbers. It sounds something like 0110010111010.
No time for that. Go.
Yeah, I am exiting as I'm doing this.
And Septimus, you are gone. Romulus, you are the last man in here. There is a whirring sound, and whatever's behind that steel plate begins cutting its way free.
My heart's beating really fast because I've got a terrible idea that might be a servitor.
It's an arco-flagellant or something horrifying like that.
Fuck.
I'm going to try and clamber out myself.
And you begin clambering. Outside is fairly chaotic. It's there is there was like a sort of semi-party going on. It looks not the twin, but a similar kind of party to the one that was going on the other spire, except with acolytes. And you've encountered these acolytes before, in the form of your very, very first encounter on the planet. These men are not happy. There are no women here at all. They're all wearing purple robes. And by party, I don't really mean like the kind of like sexual tension party that was going on in the other one. I more mean people discussing the ins and outs of, heretical law, and discussing Zench on a macro scale. And they were all fairly stunned, including some of them were killed when this thing crashed through. There was a sort of minor explosion. There's a few fires. People are a bit stunned and all over the place. Some of them have already drawn weapons. There are no stormtroopers here, but you certainly haven't entered a healthy environment for you. There's still very many people up and a bit stunned and ready to fight to a certain degree.
What's behind us?
Still the Valkyrie.
Maybe
But
don't know what's going through it yet.
there are noises inside the Valkyrie.
Okay. Wherever charge is.
Vlad, I think you had them.
Inside. Oh no, I do have them, don't I? 'Cause
Yeah.
I was about to rig them. Yeah.
Drop him in.
Are you indicating a direction? Also back in the Valkyrie?
Prove it back into Valkyrie, yeah.
Because I'm like, okay, where? Yeah, I'll throw them in.
You're going to throw them inside the Valkyrie.
Yeah.
Okay, do it.
Where did you prime them first?
That's what my las pistol's for.
So, you lob these explosives back into the Valkyrie from whence you came. And the acolytes that are up and kind of watching you don't really know what's going on still. They're all completely, sort of trauma-victimed. And from inside, you hear the same kind of whirring of servos. And then there is a deep, deep whine milliseconds after you throw those explosives inside. And the beginnings of what sounds like a chain gun going off. The first few bullets completely rip through the hide of this Valkyrie and pretty much pop any acolytes it touches. It's going from left to right.
Autocannon, lovely.
You are clearly, it's basically aiming at centre mass height for anyone in the room, and it's moving from left to right reasonably fast. But when it reaches roughly from where Vlad's trajectory was, there is a huge explosion. I'm gonna need some kind of check from you guys on this one. Let me roll. Let me roll for this. Hang on. Let's. Right.
Dodge by any chance?
Can you roll? Sorry. Right. I'm gonna give you your reactions. It's gonna be impossible to get out of the way of the entirety of this blast. For anyone that succeeds, you'll be getting half damage.
Okay, cool. Actually, before damage hits, how does recovery work? Because I'm still carrying my injuries from 2 sessions ago.
2 sessions ago.
Yeah.
Were any of them critical?
No, Chris queued on a critical session before that.
Then you would have revived your toughness bonus each session since that point.
Toughness bonus each session. Okay. Thank you.
If you don't mind me putting my reaction first, I would like to scream Vostroya and put myself between where the explosion's going to come from and my comrades. if
So is that you sacking your actual agility roll?
Yeah, just to make as big a shield of my body as I can.
Can you roll?
I've lost enough, goddamn man.
Can you roll your agility, please?
99.
I got 9.
You got a 9.
0, 9.
And how many degrees under your agility is that?
2.
2. Okay, right. I'm going to randomly select 2 members of the party to receive a bonus to their agility for the reactions.
Okay.
Septimus, you receive the first one.
Okay, how big's the bonus?
1 degree.
No. It's not going to help.
And I'm afraid Romulus receives the second one. Octavius, I think probably subconsciously Vladimir did not jump in front of you to a certain degree. But the other 2, you guys receive a degree bonus to your
So
reactions.
if we succeed, we get an extra degree.
It will help you. It's 10.
Oh, we've got plus 10.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
I'd like to point out that I've made a success now, so that's it for the campaign. Sorry, boys.
I'm going to just dodge from the nearest cover, which apparently is Vlad.
All right. Okay. So, can you make your reaction check, please?
Yeah. Really glad I put that extra 10 in dodge now. So it's my dodge plus 20 overall, because I've got the plus 10 from training.
Yep.
Just a success with 62. That is bang on what I needed.
Okay. You'll be receiving half damage.
Cool.
Septimus?
Oh no, I really fail. Even with that plus 10, I was still aiming for under 18.
Oh.
Yeah, I was aiming for under 62.
Okay,
Yeah.
you'll be receiving
Slightly
full
more
damage, Septimus. And finally, Octavius.
Okay, I've so agility minus 10. Okay, I got what was it 39, so failed.
Failed.
Yeah.
So that's 2 members of the party taking full damage. Full damage is 15.
Okay.
And half damage will be rounded up to 8.
Okay. Where exactly did it hit me? Did it hit me on the body or?
It's going to be centre mass. Yeah.
Is there
Okay, so
any
body. So
pen on
6,
this pen?
15.
Yeah, there's pen 3.
Pen 3. I take 3 then.
I have a question.
Okay.
How much
shit,
damage am I
minus
taking,
2.
Ben?
You're taking full damage. So it's
Yep.
15 damage, pen 3.
So,
So I'll take. I'm down to minus 2 rolls.
I'm down to 0 with no critical.
0 with no critical.
Yep.
That is close. I'm just attempting to find. Every time I put bookmarks in this thing, and then they go before the next session. Has anyone got a quick reference for me for where the critical tables are? I've found them. Right, here we go. Impact. Is anyone else on critical apart from Octavius?
Nope.
Air explosion is not a separate thing.
I'm doing the damage from the critical tables because you've gone into critical damage.
Yeah, I mean, does an explosive not have its own table?
I thought it was rending impact. Oh, it does. Yes, sorry, you're right. Yep.
Or is that just for vehicles?
No, you are correct. So Septimus, what's your damage?
My total damage. Oh, I'm not on any critical damage.
What's your health? You just took 15 pen 3.
Yeah, I've got a total of 10 soak.
What?
His body's made of metal. Remember, the tech priests are real tough.
Ah, okay.
I've got both flak armor and 2 armor that stacks with that, and a toughness bonus of 4.
Oh wow, okay. So you've taken what?
8 damage overall.
8 damage.
So
Eight
out of
damage.
my total of 10 wounds, I'm on 2 normal.
Okay. And Octavius, what are you on? Sorry.
I am on -2.
-2. Vlad, what are you on?
0.
0. And finally, Romulus.
I went from 7 wounds to 10 wounds.
So there is only Octavius on critical.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The target is blown backwards 1d5 meters.
Oh, Christ.
That's 4 meters.
Okay.
Just rolled over it. Meters by a terrific explosion. Suffering 1 level of fatigue per meter travelled. So that's 4 levels of fatigue.
Okay, so minus.
Finally, the target is knocked prone.
Do you think?
So he just got thrown into the middle of all those acolytes.
So basically, this huge explosion. The rest of you are kind of like you will perceive it as you were shielded from this by Vladimir's huge form. Whereas the one guy that wasn't hiding behind Vlad got blown across the fucking room.
Yeah.
Dude, start networking immediately.
Hello, gentlemen. Could I interest you in the word of the Emperor?
The acolytes around the room also suffer similar, if not more serious injuries because they aren't wearing armor.
So I basically end up sliding even further in.
Yeah, pretty much. There's a lot of gore now. There isn't much left of the Valkyrie, and out of the wreckage claws what you've only heard about in myth and legend before. A huge metal man with many mounted weapons all over him, and the seals that were once upon him have been torn from him, and he appears to twitch in a maddened state, seeking the next foe.
Heresy.
By the Emperor's will, die! And the autocannon clacks again.
Oh, shit.
And begins making a mess of the room. What are your guys' actions?
I need to check what my phobia does.
To be clear, this is a dreadnought.
Oh, a dreadnought. Okay, dreadnoughts aren't servitors. I'm fine.
No.
Yeah, totally immune.
I'm less scared of a dreadnought than I would be if it was a combat servitor.
Dude, I've been in a war with one of these in. I'm shitting it.
We're going to
was
go
on
for a
my
fear
side.
check here, I think. Let's have a look at the fear rolls.
Oh, I'm not good at these.
So
That goes crazy.
it's a willpower thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only 1 degree of failure. I was expecting more.
Does anyone have any minuses to this? So we've gone from disturbing, which was the start of the campaign, to frightening, which is fear 2.
What? So does that give it more of a penalty, or does it mean if you fail?
It's a minus 10 test modifier.
Minus 10 test modifier at 2 degrees of failure.
1 degree of failure.
1 degree of failure.
Hang on. So that would mean I'm aiming for 16. If I've got the 10 penalty, so 16 to 31, is that 2 degrees or 1 degree? That's 2 degrees, isn't it?
If you're 20 over, it's 2 degrees.
Oh, I'm only 17 over.
Yeah, that's just 1 degree then.
1 degree of failure then.
And the rest of you, what are your rolls? What are your rolls?
Oh, sorry.
I got 74, which is 3 degrees of failure.
Right,
3
so
degrees.
I've got jaded, so
That does not count for this.
okay. Well, regardless, 15. Yep, I pass. I pass with 3 degrees of success.
You have 45 willpower.
Yes. Well, 43 willpower. Sorry.
Sorry.
So 2 degrees of success. Sorry.
Yeah, 2 degrees of success because of the
Yeah.
plus 10 as well.
Yeah.
Okay, for the rest of you, Septimus, you had 3 degrees of failure. Can you roll me a D100, please?
42.
Plus 30. The character is frozen by terror. He can take no action until he recovers himself and snaps out. You're going to be making minus 10 penalty for the rest of the encounter until the end of the encounter. Sorry.
Yep.
Who got minus 20? Who got 2 degrees of failure? Was it you, Septimus? Sorry, was it you, Romulus?
I only got the 1 degree.
1 degree. Okay, roll your D100, please.
Oh, that's not good. 86.
That's 96. Panic grips the character. He must flee the source of his fear, if able, as fast as he can. And if prevented from doing so, he can only take half actions and is at a minus 20 penalty to all tests.
There's a big broken window there, Gary.
That'd be going. I'd have to run past it to do that. That's not happening.
And Vladimir, did you fail?
I did, by 1 degree of failure.
Please roll.
98.
Oh.
It's these fear tests, guys. We didn't have to do anything else apart from fear tests. It would be awful.
Am I the only one who's good with fear tests?
Yeah.
Apparently.
Fainting dead away. The character keels over and remains unconscious for 1d5 rounds. That's actually 1. Good luck. Lucky roll on that one.
Getting sanity points as well, right?
During this time, he can do nothing, drops anything he is holding. Afterward, until the end of the encounter, the character can only take a single half action each turn. In terms of insanity,
Yes.
I think it's only me, isn't it?
there's so many different levels to this. How? So it's only if you incur. Is it 2 or 3 levels of failure?
Last time you mentioned it, I thought it was 3.
I think you're
That
probably
was the last level of fear, though. The fears have gone up now, hasn't it?
that only makes the fear test more difficult.
Right. Okay.
I don't think that decreases the amount of degrees of failure you need to get insanity.
Right.
I'm just not entirely sure how many insanity points
That's
you actually
good, because
get.
if I was getting any, it would be on another mental disorder, probably.
Can anyone recall how many more you get?
Oh, yeah. Whenever a character fails a fear test by 3 or more degrees, he also gains 1d5 insanity points.
Okay, you gain 3 insanity points. What's your ISP total?
10.
10! That requires you to make a test.
Of what?
It's on the insanity track, so it's for mental traumas, I believe. Mental traumas. So if you roll a D100 and plus 10... Sorry, no, you just roll a D100, and then it's a plus 10 against your willpower.
Okay, yeah, I failed that.
By how many degrees?
3.
3. Okay, and then finally roll for what your actual mental trauma is. D100.
19.
The character must compulsively perform an action, such as fevered praying, frantically cleaning a weapon, etc., and pays little attention to anything else. He suffers a -10 penalty to all tests based on intelligence, fellowship, and perception. The effects last for 2 hours.
Joy.
So basically, you guys have shit the bed.
Yes, we've got one guy unconscious, one guy who can't move, one guy who's running away, and another guy who's prone and really hurt.
Who is on a gore slip and slide.
Okay, so to round off this evening's session, can I get descriptions of everyone's final state, please? Starting with Septimus, please.
Blurting out binary, frantically disassembling the closest mechanical thing he can find.
Which is probably your mechanize, isn't it?
No, you can't really disassemble them.
Okay.
Anything on the floor. If there's a dead body on the floor, I'll probably be vivisecting it.
Okay, yeah, we'll go with that. A slightly crushed form from where the Valkyrie initially crashed. So you're vivisecting that, and give us like a physical description of what he looks like.
Well, probably absolutely mad, I would have thought, because he's blurting out binary and frantically kind of gently separating the bones out, and seems to be naming them in the bones of the left hand of the person who's doing it to.
That's terrifying. That really is.
But he's naming them in binary, so each one's like about 40 numbers at least.
Okay, the next person, let's go Vladimir. So you have, by description in the rulebook, keeled over, but can you describe that for me?
I think inside my head I've gone to my happy place. There's like busty Vostroyan wenches with big bottles of fire water. There's probably a nuclear explosion in the background. I'm completely naked apart from my incredibly thick moustache that one of those women is somehow running her fingers through despite how greased it is. And my father sits beside me, bare-chested and proud. All the other firstborn are around me, and all in all, it's pretty balling. It is the complete opposite of what's going on at that time.
And Octavius, can you describe what's happening for you at the moment, please?
I'm looking at all this, kind of laying on the floor, kind of propping myself up with my elbows, looking at this mechanical monstrosity. All that's running through my mind is, fuck. I knew I should have stayed. I knew I should have stayed in the hive. Or I knew I should have stayed in Secundus.
And Romulus.
Turn and start booking it. In the back of my mind, realise that it's probably a bad tactical decision to run in a straight line away from something armed with an autocannon, but unable to stop myself.
Right. So you're thinking to yourself, serpentine, 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 but all you're actually doing is just bombing it in a straight line towards the nearest exit.
Just any moment expecting my organs to come flying out the front of my chest.
And behind you, you hear this clack, this heavy sounding metallic slamming of bullets being ejected at an extraordinary speed, coming from a monstrosity that is clearly insane. Around you, you hear the screams of acolytes, and you're not entirely sure where their screams stop and yours begin.